Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the psych coach, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can instill confidence in children, whether they're your children or those around you. It's great to be able to have confidence, and I think a lot of people who've got children in their life, whether you're a teacher or a parent or an aunt, would wish for the child that they care for to have confidence. And there are things you can do as an adult to help a child have more confidence. So, tip number one is to encourage self-pride. That means if a child comes to you really pleased with a piece of work that they've done or a picture they've painted or a task that they've completed, instead of simply saying, "Well done, I'm so proud of you," you say, "Goodness me, are you proud of yourself for having completed that?" Of course, you can give positive feedback too, and you can say how pleased you are that they've done the piece of work, but see if you can eke out some self-pride from them initially. If you're able to do that, you're getting the child's brain to start engaging with a bit of self-pride. They're not just looking for external gratification, which of course we all benefit from and we all typically like, but you're instilling this idea of self-praise, of, yeah, I did a good job. I'm pleased with myself. And you can do it in a number of ways. If a child's doing something, you say, "Gosh, you're doing really well at that. Are you pleased with how you're doing it?" Or do you feel pride when you complete that piece of work? Or did you feel proud when you took part in the assembly? Asking the child to experience their sense of pride and verbalizing it is really helpful. And as I say, you can do it alongside giving them praise as well, but see if you can get it from the child. Tip number two is to normalise mistakes. And that's normalising mistakes as a parent or a carer or a teacher. We don't want to model perfection to children. We don't want to model that us as adults are the experts, we know everything, we never make mistakes and making mistakes is terrible. Actually, if you can model making mistakes and then subsequent resilience, which is, okay, I made a mistake, but I'm going to try again, that's a really valuable tool for a child. We don't want children to be brought up thinking that everything apart from them is perfect and all adults are perfect and are never able to make mistakes, because that's not reality. And if children can normalise making mistakes and indeed recovering from making mistakes and bouncing back, they will have a more robust sense of confidence than a child who feels really emotionally stunted because they've made a mistake. So normalise making mistakes, and instead of saying, "Okay, well, never mind," say, "That's okay, we've made a mistake and we can move on from it, can't we? It's not a big deal. It's perfectly normal to make mistakes. I've made a mistake." Sometimes you can list the mistakes you've made just to normalise it. We don't want children growing up thinking they need to be perfect. What we want children to do is to grow up recognising that if they do make a mistake, they can dust themselves off from it and recover quickly. Tip number three is to be specific with feedback. Being specific with feedback means instead of simply saying, "I love that picture you've done," or "Good job," or "Nice bit of baking," try and actually focus on some of the detail. "I really like the colour you used in that painting. Why?" "I really like the taste of the muffins you made and the sultanas you put in it. How many did you put in? How much did it weigh?" Or, "I really like the way you were riding your bike. You went particularly fast when you went downhill." Just trying to expand on the feedback that you're giving the child and the compliments that you're giving shows that actually you're focusing with a level of intention. It's really easy to just say, "That was a good job," or "Well done," but actually focusing on a bit of detail on what the child is looking for feedback for can really convey the message of, "I was paying attention." So think about giving specific feedback when you're giving praise and when you're saying they've done a good job, instead of just a generic throwaway comment. And tip number four is not to berate yourself. Berating yourself in front of the child that you're looking after or that you're caring for, that is your child, doesn't model particularly well for children. Modelling is where we behave in a way that other people may look up to, for example, a child. And what we want to do is we want to model healthy self-esteem. We want to model the ability to make mistakes and bounce back from them. And what we don't want to model is self-flagellation and berating yourself. So if you do something wrong, instead of saying, "I'm such an idiot, I'm such a fool, stupid mummy," try and think of something different to say, because what you're modelling to your child is, if you make a mistake, you're stupid. If you don't do something as well as is ideal, you shouldn't have bothered trying. So try not to engage in self-downing in front of children. So many adults engage in excessive self-downing, constantly putting themselves down, telling themselves they're no good, and that has an astronomical impact on self-esteem. The impact is huge. So when you're around a child, try not to engage in self-downing or berating yourself. Recognise that you made a mistake, sure. Recognise that you could have done something better, sure. But don't engage in that I'm so stupid, silly mummy, that's really bad, I'm such a bad person, because it's not helpful, and you certainly don't want a child picking up those tips. Of course, these 4 things that I've mentioned are ideals, aren't they? And we're not going to be able to stick with them all the time. But if you can have those tips on your radar when you're around children, you will help instill a better level of confidence than if they weren't on your radar. If you've enjoyed today's tips, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will give you plenty more tips on how you can use psychology on a day-to-day basis.